Welcome to Booze Free with Becca, an old school drinker who woke up in her 50s only to discover there is life after the bottle. I'm your host, Becca Jacobson, and this is one girl's opinion on why we should get sober and how to do it. I offer stories, solutions, options for recovery, and inspiration and motivation for women in the second half of life to put down that bottle and start living. If you're undecided, I'm here to convince you to take the leap, and I'm here to help you along the way. Listen, gals, we've wasted enough time, so join me and my group of amazing women on the thrilling road to recovery. I'm determined to bring as many of you with me on this journey as I can, so let's get to it. Hey gals, welcome to day 4. You know, it occurred to me, if you're anything like me, you probably blame yourself a lot, don't you? You blame yourself for your drinking, for failing to stop drinking, for breaking promises to yourself, for being unable to stop, for everything that's happened. I want you to know, I'm here to tell you today that it is not your fault that you have a problem with alcohol, to whatever degree it might be. So for some of us, it's a total obsession. For others, it's I can't stop drinking every Saturday night. Others, it's every day. It doesn't matter. If you've developed a problem of any varying degree, whatever level, with alcohol, it is not your fault. I mean, let's start. First of all, alcohol is everywhere. It's advertised. I mean, they don't advertise cigarettes. But, the alcohol ads that I've been seeing this summer on television just blow my mind. They're trying to get people to drink whiskey in summer, so trying to make whiskey look like a fun summer drink. I saw that one the other day. I couldn't believe it. So it's advertised everywhere, but it is everywhere. So it's at sporting events. It's here. It's there. How do you do life in our society without alcohol? And then, of course, it's even at work. Right? So we go to work events, there's going to be alcohol. So that's the first, part of it. But even so, there are a lot of people who live in this society and don't have an alcohol problem. It's still not your fault, because there's a certain percentage of us who actually metabolize alcohol differently. That's me. Hello, I'm over here. My hand is raised. That's me. I did not know this. I just assumed that everybody felt the same way I did when they drank. I just assumed that when they drank, like they felt, for example, the desire for more alcohol, because that's what alcohol did to me. I had a drink and I had one reaction. I want more. It immediately triggered a craving in me. And I just assumed that everyone felt that way. And so when I would see people have a couple of drinks and then quit, I was always like, I just don't understand this. I just thought that they had more willpower than me. They were smarter, and somehow they had it more together than I did. And so that did massive damage to my self-esteem, because I thought, wow, how do they do that, right? It turns out they don't even feel that feeling. They don't even crave the next drink. I don't know if you know that, but that's a fact, right? So if you have, how is that our fault that our bodies physically metabolize alcohol differently? It's not. So getting a problem with alcohol in whichever way, whether it grew slowly over time and snuck up on you, is not your fault. And especially for women, it's hard for us to believe this. Women aren't supposed to be, there's so much stigma around this that we buy into the stigma and we perpetuate the stigma against ourselves. We beat ourselves up. This is what I did. I did it for so long. I had a few people over the years come into my life and try to tell me what I'm telling you right now, and I didn't believe them. When I look back now, I believe I was almost getting some sort of perverse reverse satisfaction out of being, sure, you say it's not my fault, but, if I really wanted to, I could quit. It was almost like I wasn't willing to even believe them, and go figure that one out. But at the end of the day, it turns out it's true. It wasn't until I accepted that and accepted the fact that, look, it's not your fault. It's not that you're a loser. It wasn't until I was able to accept that I could start thinking about it differently. Now, look, it may not be our fault that we develop a problem, but it is our responsibility to do something about it once we recognize it. Is our responsibility. And the longer we wait, the more damage we do. Once we see it there, once we see, oh, this is a problem, we need to do something about it, because the fact of the matter is no one else can do it for us. Nobody else can come along and do it for you. In fact, whenever somebody comes along and says to us, you drink too much, what do we want to do? Drink more? This never works, right? So if you're recognizing a problem, which I'm assuming you are because you're sitting here listening to this, it's time to take responsibility for cleaning up, for doing something about it. You know, it would be like getting diagnosed with diabetes and saying, that's okay, I got it. Okay, thanks for the diagnosis. I think I'll go home and cure myself. It doesn't work that way. We need help, right? And we need help with this as well. I would say about 5% of the people who try to quit on their own are successful. 5%. And that's not just my experience, but other experts as well have noticed that percentage. It just doesn't work when we try to do it by ourselves for a whole variety of reasons, of which I'm not going to go into in this episode because I'm keeping these short. I do talk about it in other places, in my courses and in my live events. I go into that, and I'll probably come up later on in this 365. But you know, the main thing I wanted to talk about today was just to let you know, in case you didn't know or you'd forgotten or you're resisting the idea, that it is not your fault that you have a problem with alcohol, but it is your responsibility to do something about it. And I know we wait. I waited, so no judgment here. I waited mainly out of fear, although I didn't recognize it at the time. I waited and waited and waited, telling myself the lie that I could do it alone. Oh, yeah, okay, I know I got a problem. I'm on it. It's okay, that's it. It's over. I can do it over and over and over again until And so I put it off, and I thought I pretended I could do it myself. But at the end of it all, the truth of the matter, if I'm going to be completely honest, which I finally am able to do, it was fear. I could not imagine life without alcohol, and therefore I found every excuse in the book not to do something about it, because I had drank for so long. It was my best friend. And I understand that fear. I understand it to my core, because I lived with it and let it rule me for over 30 years. So I get that you're afraid. You might not even realize that you're afraid. But I'm here to tell you that the fear is the anticipation of this is way worse than the actual happening. So thinking about it is worse than doing it. All the anticipation that we put up in our minds about it is worse than the doing of it. I had a woman just email me yesterday and say, that was way easier than I thought. And that's a fact. But again, I'll talk about that more later. So there it is, gals. Please stop blaming yourself for this. There are so many external factors and internal factors, like physiological. So don't take the blame, but do take the responsibility. And you're on the path, you're listening, you're hearing my voice. So that means you're willing to take responsibility. And I'm going to share with you in the coming days some stories of women who've come on this path with me, some success stories, some fear stories. I've got lots of stories for you in the days to come as we do 365 together. So there's day 4 for you. Sending you love, always rooting for you. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now. Now's your chance to send me back some love, gals. Subscribe, follow, leave me a good review, share, all that good stuff. And if you can't leave a good review, shoot me an email and let me know what's going on at becca@recoveringwithbecca.com. Thanks for listening, gals. And don't forget to join me on Facebook or Instagram. And you can leave me a review, you can follow me, you can subscribe, you can share. And I'd love to hear from you at becca@recoveringwithbecca.com. Bye for now.